Last couple of days we've been talking about prayer. The first day we talked about how God's always calling us into that mysterious encounter known as prayer. Yesterday we talked about that really what we need to do is just put ourselves in a position to be found. And the question is, what will we find as we put ourselves in a position to be found? St. Ignatius of Loyola has a great line at the beginning of the spiritual exercises, number 75. And there he encourages all of us at the beginning of our holy hour to stop looking at ourselves and to put our gaze onto God. Because there's something important about a gaze. There's something important about the way that a person looks at us. I want to tell you a story. It involves my sister and her kids. I'm number 5 of 6. I have a younger sister, Diana, and she has been blessed by God with 3 beautiful kids, Alice, Nolan, and Jacob. And they love Uncle Mark. Great kids. Oftentimes when I look at them, I see their beauty and I see the gift that they are from the Lord. But trust me, they don't always look precious and beautiful. Oftentimes they're full of mischief. Oftentimes they're full of playfulness. Oftentimes they're full of the joie de vie, the joy of life that we call in South Louisiana. Especially Nolan and Jacob. The boys have a real special affection for Uncle Mark, and I certainly have a real special affection for them. We like to roughhouse, we like to play a lot, and our relationship with God is really blessed, and I thank God for the gift of those 2 beautiful little boys. I was up in Omaha one summer, and I flew home one weekend to cover masses back in the parish when I was pastor. And my sister Diana picked me up from the airport, and I had an intuition that she would bring the kids, and certainly I was hoping that she would do so. Well, sure enough, as I was curbside waiting to be picked up, I saw her car coming around the corner, and I eventually saw all 3 kids in the car. Put my bag in the back of the car, ran around the side, opened up the door, poked my head in the car, and you should have seen their eyes. Their eyes said it all. Their eyes said, "Hi, it's Uncle Mark." And just the opportunity to be with them, they were certainly anticipating seeing me because of the love they have for me and the love that they know I have for them. And they didn't need to say anything that day. When I put my head on the car, I could see their eyes, and their eyes said everything. When you love somebody, and when that person loves you deeply, when you look at them and you allow them to look at you, there's something in their eyes that relays and communicates love. And that's the same thing that we discover when we put ourselves in a position to be found and realize that God is already there waiting for us, and God is gazing, He is beholding us. So at the beginning of prayer and the 75th annotation in the spiritual exercises, Ignatius encourages all of us as he says, a step or 2 before the place where I am to meditate and contemplate, I will pause for the space of an Our Father with my consciousness raised on high and consider how my God and Lord gazes upon me. And then I will make an act of reverence and humility. The beginning of prayer. St. Ignatius encourages all of us, as he did himself, to pause for 60 seconds, the space of an Our Father, with our consciousness raised on high, not looking at us, not bouldering into prayer and kind of just throwing at God all of our stuff, but to stop looking at us and to look at God. And as we look at God who's beholding us, Ignatius says that we should consider how He beholds us, how He gazes upon us. How is it that God is looking at us? In other words, what's in His eyes as He looks at us? When I saw Nolan and Jacob's eyes, I knew that they were excited. I knew that I was desired by them. They wanted to be around me. And I knew that it was going to be a beautiful encounter just by looking in their eyes. And when you and I allow God to look at us, and when we receive His gaze, we can know right from the beginning how God feels for us to be there. So many times when you and I are having a bad day, we just assume God's having a bad day too. So many times when you and I are busy, just caught up in life, we assume that God's busy and He's caught up in life. So many times when we feel guilty and we don't feel like we are worthy of God, we feel that God feels the same way, that He's disappointed, and that He doesn't think that we're worthy of His love. My friends, the most important thing that we can do before we pray is consider how God looks upon us. Today, as you pray, I would encourage you at the beginning of your prayer to stop for 60 seconds. Stop looking at you and look at God. And consider what's in God's eyes as He looks at you. And as you pray today, I would encourage you to pray again with the prophet, this time Isaiah chapter 43, 1-7, where the prophet says the words of God, that we are precious in His eyes and He loves us. Let the Lord look at you, receive His gaze today. God bless you.